shotplace.com and pickdogs.com. Friday, August 28th, 2020. We've got Major League Baseball picks. Of course, when we did the morning show, there was still some TBDs out there. You know me. But, of course, we're going to give updates from some of the top handicappers in the world. You guys are going to get a chance to meet these guys as well as squeeze some free picks out of them and get you guys ready for tonight's slate. You know, easing back into sports, it's kind of become a whole new different way of doing sports, right? It's like we've had to do it twice in the last month where we're kind of like easing back into sports. And, you know, I'm excited for the NBA tomorrow. And hopefully in a few days, this is kind of all forgotten, these stoppages and, you know, not the reasons for the stoppages, but the stoppages themselves. And, you know, the reasons, well, that's a whole nother story. But the stoppages will be forgotten about, and we'll get ready to play, you know, some more sports. We got college football starting, and now the Big Ten kind of realizing, maybe we made a mistake, you know. Maybe we shouldn't have canceled the season so fast because the other conferences are kind of like, well, you guys don't ever win anything anyhow, so we don't really care if you guys play or not. And it's less people to split the money with. So Texas is like, we're in, you know. So, you know, you go to the Big 12 conference and there's 10 teams in the Big 12 because they don't want to split the money 12 ways. And you say to Texas, well, we're going to play the season, but we don't have to split the money with half the teams in the country. So they're like, so we get half and everybody splits the other half. Is that how this works? You know, and they're like, we don't have to split the money equally. We'll take it. You know, it's like, so that's pretty much what has happened, you know, in college football. Now the Big Ten realizes they've missed out on a tremendous opportunity here. And for this season, they're going to start Thanksgiving, which means they'll probably just run past New Year's up against the NFL playoffs and stuff, or in between. I'm not really sure how they're going to do it. Maybe the Pac-12 will do the same. I don't know. Or in the Mountain West, maybe they'll follow suit. But I think the Big Ten, it's more seller's remorse on their part, realizing that they made probably a big mistake by not doing it. But anyways, we got tons of sports today, tons of guests, and of course, as I mentioned this morning, I'm probably going to be leaving the late show. I'm still going to come on for appearances, and I'll if I have something important to say about the sites or about the show or the channel or any of that stuff. I'm still way accessible. I'm still on the morning show, all the videos, the podcast, everything else. It's just this show. Tony, Dana, and Joe will be kind of taking over, and then if you guys want me to come on as a guest, or there'll be times when I'll want to come on anyway, and I'll just say I'm coming on. And it's my show, so I'll be here anyway. So, anyways, it's Tony's show, and we're gonna pass the reins to him as far as driving. He's gonna drive the limo, and decide who gets to ride and who doesn't. But Tony, glad that we have you. I think you and Dana are, we saw yesterday. It's gonna be magical, and of course with Joe adding some color, it's only gonna be better. So. What do we got going on today?
Yeah, well, Mitch, we have quite a big card of Major League Baseball. 13 games to get action on. We'll have a lot of picks today on the drive-thru. That's what we're all about. We're about getting those free picks out to you and getting to hear from our handicappers. In Joe D'Amico, how you doing out there in Vegas?
It's great. Another sunny, beautiful day in Vegas. The books are heating up. I have a lot of friends coming out here, big-time gamblers throughout the country that are booking flights to come out here over the next few weeks for the start of football season. But right now, we're here to talk about baseball. We've got a great lineup today. Of course, Mitch, I'm going to be sorry to see you go, but of course, it is your show. You're going to pop in regularly. We got the other JD, the other Joe D, and Joe Duffy on the show. We got heard of El Nino. We got Al Ninos. We got the other cheater in New York. We got Mr. Jeff Cheater, my friend Chris Ruffalo. We got one of my favorite people in all of business, Brian Bittler, the other guy who shaves his head and just as good looking as I am. Yeah, I know. Me, him, and Mitch can put our heads together and make an ass and a half out of ourselves. I'm very proud of us. I am very proud to be on the show, but I'm very excited about today's card and today's lineup. My first time working with Mr. Jeff Cheater, but I love every day working with Joe and Al and Chris and Brian and yourself, Tony. Speaking of hair, you got the best hair in the business.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much for that. All right, this is the drive-thru picks galore. We'll lead to the top of the hour. We got 13 games to bet on, and let's get it going. Let's bring him in. Joe Duffy joins us here on the drive-thru. Joe, how you doing? And thank goodness, I was a little nervous overnight seeing no lines, but thank goodness we're gonna have some games in.
Yeah, you're not kidding. First of all, thank you for letting me drive in the limo with you. I thought I was going to have to wait until I died before I could finally drive in a limo, but Now I am, so I'm enjoying this ride. And you're not kidding. I saw that Bet Online, I think, was the first of the sports books to start posting odds this morning, and then I think 5 Dimes followed thereafter. I don't want to give too much free advertising to those books, but yeah, I was staring at my screen waiting to see the odds come up, and they finally did come up, and it looks like we're in pretty good shape. The games that I picked, no pitching changes, and, Christian Yelich, I don't know if you know, for the gamblers out there, he was a late scratch. A little bit weird. After 2 days off, Yelich is a scratch. I'm not sure what that's about, but that's kind of the biggest story that's developed as far as bettors are concerned in the last hour or so.
All right, this is a drive-through joined by Joe D'Amico. Joe Duffy here. Joe, you're in the ATL, and you're going to cover this one. Braves and Phillies in this contest. We've seen the Phillies here as a favorite with Zach Wheeler against Erlin for Atlanta. How do you see this one?
Well, again, this is one of those things that I do time and time again with my advanced analytics. Like to use the odds makers' knowledge against them. I mean, just imagine if you're a football coach and Tom Brady, you could use his strengths totally against him, or LeBron James in basketball, whatever, LeBron's strengths. You could weaponize those against him. And that's what I do in my sports handicapping. The odds makers are kind of making a statement here. And granted, we have to consider pitchers, but in other sports, same thing applies. When you kind of have a line that's counterintuitive with a straight-up record, I've said time and time again, the single most overrated statistic in handicapping is a straight-up record. Basically, when you have a team that is a large favorite, despite an inferior record, they are a tremendous play and an even better play on the run line. We've got one that is 105.72 units on the plus side on the run line, and I should clarify, way my software is, because I know we count units on the site, $1 per unit. This would be based on 1 unit per play. It would be up 105 units. Now, Wheeler has pitched pretty well this year, 2.76 ERA, 1.10 whip. If you were to look merely, though, at the pitching numbers, you would say that Erlin matches up fairly well, though, in a couple fewer starts. And then if you would look at the team stats, you would say Atlanta's the better team. So despite the empty stadium home field advantage that Philly would have, you'd be like, why are they laying such a big number? It's counterintuitive, and again, more times than not, the computer tells me when it's counterintuitive, we're going to steal the odds maker's knowledge and use it against them. As I said, I do have a very good stat that's not only 105 units on the plus side, but with an 8.6 return on investment. So Philadelphia and Wheeler minus the 1.5, but we're getting back the 140.
All right, drive through here with Joe Duffy and Joe D'Amico, and Mitch also with us today. And I want to ask you a question here. When you're looking at your database, how do you factor into teams that are streaking? We see a lot of times, we see teams that are winning, that have won 7 of 9, or teams going opposite directions. How do you factor streaks in your handicapping?
Well, in the days before computers, like I said, I got into this business back in 1988 and was gambling before that. I used to ride that old adage, and I think we even talked about this elsewhere, that essentially if one team had a 3-game or more winning streak against a team that had a 3-game or more losing streak, I used to like to ride those streaks. I've entered it in my computer, and unfortunately in the last 10, 15 years, the team streaks haven't held up the way that they were back in the 1980s. So at one time or another, I've entered just about any possible combination, and team streaks, as much as I used to love them when I was much, much younger and way back in those score phone days, not so much anymore. Those streaks don't really seem to hold up the way they used to.
All right, Joe Duffy here on the drive-through. Picks coming up. We'll have a lot of handicappers on our show. 13 games to bet on tonight for me.
Other nights, in fact, in baseball, a lot of mine have to do with in-series adjustments. So sometimes Fridays in baseball aren't usually the days that spit out the most winners, and with all the uncertainty. I do, though, have a 7 o'clock Eastern Wise Guy play. In fact, this Wise Guy play, it's the first time it's applied this year. It's up 183.45 units and 8.2% return on investment. The reason it's the first time it applied this year, it has to do with the minimum number of starts for each pitcher. So that's why this system is just starting to kick in. But it's one of the better systems out there, and it does apply tonight for a 7:05 Eastern game.
All right, check Joe Duffy out at Pick Dogs on the premium side, and you'll pick up his Wise Guy play from Major League Baseball. Joe, as always, great having you show. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, gents.
All right, that was Joe Duffy here on our drive-through show. We'll have a lot more picks coming. I'm going to ask Joe D'Amico a question about streaks. I know in Vegas we hear that all the time. There's a lot of handicappers out there, a lot of public people that like to write those streaks in baseball. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I do think there's something to streaks, particularly in baseball, more than the other sports. I do think that I personally, as you know, I'm more of a streetwise player. I grew up in the streets of Lower East Side of Manhattan, Little Italy area. I grew up around bookmakers. I've never seen a bookmaker go out of business. So I always see these guys who stick to one type of playing, and I see more of those going out of business than I do bookmakers. I don't see the sports books out here going out of business. So I don't try to adhere to any one type of angle. I do try to use certain angles and look at things. But obviously, if any one angle did work, we would all be owning the casinos, and the casinos would be coming in and betting with us. So I do put some stock in some streaks, and I do think baseball is more streaky than other sports. But obviously, a lot of things have changed this season. They're not going on the road as they normally are, as distances as they normally are. They're not playing certain teams that they normally do, and we have to look at those things. I mean, and obviously, as you touched on earlier, as we touched on before the show started, we're getting lines much later. We're finding out starting pitchers for game two of these doubleheaders, and that's another thing. We have to look at things a lot differently. We're having a lot more doubleheaders now, and obviously 7 innings each changes a lot of the things that we look at. But I do put some stock in streaks. I just don't put all my stock in streaks.
All right, you listen to the drive-through and watching the drive-through here on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat place. And Tony T, joined by Mitch and Joe D'Amico. Joe, you're up. You're up to play here. We're going to look at the Indians and Cardinals tonight for Major League Baseball.
Well, I'm just proud to be following my man Joe D. This is a hell of a lineup. I want to talk about guys. I want to talk about the Cleveland Indians going into Busch Stadium, taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Guys, the Tribe running hot, folks. They're coming in here, taking 2 or 3 over the Twins, 9 of the last 12 overall. This is a team with one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Team ERA of 2.86, making its second start of the campaign. Brooklyn native, for our other New Yorker on the panel, Mr. Jeff Jeter. Brooklyn native Tristan McKenzie, former first-round draft pick. He looked good in his debut, going 6 strong innings. He yielded just 2 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 10 batters. He walked just one. He earned a victory over Detroit a little more than a week ago. Let's go flip side, the Cardinals. Guys, they mustered just 2 runs while getting down by the Pirates 2-0 just a few days ago. This is a team that's just 7-7 at home this year. Daniel Ponce-de-Leon, I love saying that name. He gets the nod tonight in 4 starts, 0-1 with an ERA of 5.25. He is yet to make it past 4.2 innings pitched. My friends, my opinion, he should have followed in the footsteps of his great-grandpappy and become an explorer. Maybe he could have found a victory, because he ain't going to find one here tonight. The Indians 8-0, the last 8 on the road, 13-4, the last 17 versus the NL Central, 6-2, the last 8 versus right-handed starters. Take Cleveland minus the $1.30-ish, folks. You'll collect for sure here.
All right, Joe D'Amico here on the drive-through. Mitch, I know you're going to chime in. I know you like this McKenzie.
I love McKenzie, but I like the Cardinals in this game. This Cardinals team, this looks to me like a low-scoring game. Daniel Ponce de Leon, his first time, remember when he pitched that very first game? He almost threw a perfect game. He has good stuff, and these Cardinal games, I've been watching a lot of baseball this year. Like, I'm a game watcher, right? I always have been. Everyone knows. It's like I have a wall of TVs in my house, and I watch games, and that's what I do. And I'm here even in the studio. The studio's tiny, but I still have managed to fit the 85-inch screen TV in here, right? It still manages to make it. So I've seen these Indian games, and I know that some of the other guys are going to say the same thing, but that they're really low scoring. Generally, these Cleveland Indian games are. It leaves the back door open for a team like the Cardinals, who have pulled off 2 of the most miraculous comebacks that you'll ever see. The game against the Royals recently, and then they had the other one against the Reds just a few days before. This is a team that if you keep them close, if you leave the crack of the door open there, they will kick the door down, and they do it with 2 outs. They do it with I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like I don't love the Cardinals here, but I find this one, this is some tough. It's a tough place to be. Laying odds on the road against a team that we've seen do that. It's just, I don't know. It's the Cardinals. It's it's kind of like what I tell the Dolphins. Whenever they send me things, hey, do you need any help? I'm like, you guys should go to the St. Louis Cardinals, find out everything that they're doing from top to bottom as an organization. Start there, and then maybe you'll have a playoff team. It's like maybe. It's like, do you think they have 60,000 people calling them wondering what your email about parking said? I don't think so.
All right, here on the drive-thru, I'm Tony T, joined by Joe D'Amico and Mitch, and of course Joe coming in on his free play here at the Indians. I like the under in this one, under 8.5. I think you have two strong bullpens. Indians line up a little weak on the road, 185 batting average, but again, I like this McKenzie. The guy looks like the real thing.
He looks real good.
Joe, what's happened over at Pick Dogs? I know you've got a 3-pack up there.
Well, Tony, sports fans, right here at Pick Dogs, 7-2, my last 9 baseball releases. Tonight's card, I feel, is one of my strongest yet this campaign. Very excited about this card. 3 big winners. 7:10 Eastern. I have my payday play, $25. 8:05 Eastern, my run line game of the week. I make money on run lines, and I love this run line. It's my game of the week, $50. 9:10 Eastern, I have my bookie busted. Follow me. We'll bust your bookie for $35. But I'm going to kick this up a notch, Tony. I'm going to kick it up a notch. I'm so sure I'm going to make our viewers money tonight. I have a 3-pack. That's right. You get all 3 big winners for less than the price of 2 games. Get all 3 for just $69. Go to Pick Dogs. Get all 3. You're going to go 3-0. I'm going to tell you right now, but I'm going to tell you, no matter what, I'm going to make you money tonight. Go there. Get these 3 games for the price of 2. Make money. You'll be collecting. We'll go into the weekend with the money. You can go out, take your lady out, go to the strip club, go wherever you want. Just get this 3-pack tonight.
If I'm ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Joe D'Amico's doing my introduction. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I will be there, brother. I'm going to miss you every on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I really am.
Check out Joe D'Amico over at Pick Dogs on the premium side. He's got top of the hour games going to pick up his 3-pack here on our show, the drive-thru. We have more picks coming. We're going to get to the top of the hour. A lot of handicappers to talk, a lot of free picks, and let's continue. El Ninos, unmute. Can we get you to unmute? Yes, sir. We got you unmuted here. All right. Welcome to drive-thru, my man.
Yeah, it's on my notes for my pick this time. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at the I'm doing good. Sorry, how are you?
Hey, can't complain. There's baseball. There's 13 games to bet on, and I know we'll get the NBA and NHL tomorrow, but listen, 13 is a good number for me.
That's good. That's good. So let's look at this Mariners at the Angels. I see well, it's going to be a high-scoring matchup with these 2 pitchers going. I think Heaney never posted a season with a ERA under 4. Marge Vicious not much better himself. He does have slightly better numbers this year, but again, it's been a short season, so not much to go on there. And well, I absolutely love the over in this game. And I also see that the Angels are huge favorites here. I would not be laying anywhere near to -200 with the Angels anytime soon. So I also have a small lean to the Mariners as well, who've done pretty good, definitely better than what I expected to see out of them coming into this season. So definitely my best play is the over, and then small lean to the Mariners on the money.
Yeah, I can't argue. This was my head scratching line today when I saw Heaney. When I saw Heaney line, it's like sometimes Mitch says, "Well, you just cannot bet Heaney, right, Mitch?"
No, I mean you can't bet the Angels. I mean this because Joe Madden's got to wear the face mask, so it's like he only cares about his TV time, and it's like now it's like he can't even yuck it up for the camera because he's got to wear the mask. So it's kind of like it's just been a bust for him this whole season. And the Rendon pickup has been, it's hurt Washington a lot more than it's helped the Angels. And you see that a lot of times in free agency.
Well, part of it, I don't think it's his fault because the Angels' starting rotation has been trashed the past several seasons. And he's kind of inherited that.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're spending, $30 million for a third baseman, you can maybe pick up a couple pitchers. Garrett Richards doesn't seem to be doing too badly over in San Diego.
Yeah, well, it took a little while to get him healthy. He's been an injured guy.
I'd still rather have him than Patrick Sandoval.
Oh goodness, yes. Yes. No question about that. Yeah, going back with Al here, Heaney, his past 14 innings, he's allowed 14 earned runs. And Seattle put up they started to hit in that San Diego series, and they're averaging about 6.5 runs over their past 7 games. So we get some offense here from the Mariners, and I like your play there, Mr. El Ninos.
Yeah, also like Marge Vicious is also prone to giving up home runs. And the one thing that the Angels have been doing is hitting home runs. So I do see them giving us a few runs here to help us push the over, which is just at 9, and you can even get it plus 135 if you push it up to 10. I like that too. So up to you whether you go 9 or 10. I like both plays there. I think this one goes way over.
All right, El Ninos here, joining us here on the drive-thru. More picks coming, everybody. Al, what's going on? What do you got going on at Pick Dogs?
Well, we got baseball every day, and we got the NHL, NBA back tomorrow, so should have a few picks there too. So definitely looking forward to a great Saturday. That's going to be full of lots of good games. So definitely got some great matchups in the NBA coming up, and well, I always love my baseball. So.
He does. All right, Al, it's always great having you. Show. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, you too. Thanks again for having me.
All right, guys, just a reminder, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Mitch and his Pig Dogs are on, and they'll break down the NBA, NHL, so you got a pretty good, you'll have some games to talk about tomorrow morning, Mitch.
Well, we always have something to talk about. Usually it's it doesn't really matter, and a lot of times it's the Chris Ruffalo buffet menu, and I'm fine with that too. It's like we start talking about chicken parmesan, we forget we're even on a show. It's like we're all drooling. It's it's like it's really good on that. When they grate the cheese over it's like, and then it's like we actually did about 20 minutes one day on whether you like the chicken sitting on top of the pasta the way I like it, right, or on the side of the pasta. Like when they serve the chicken. Joe, you like the chicken parm on top of the pasta, or you like it on the side of the pasta?
Truth be told, it looks good as served. It's better looking to the eye served on top. I personally like it to the side because I like to get to it. I'll be honest though, I cook traditional. I cook like my mother taught me how to cook at a young age, and we've been out eating quite a few times, Mitch. I cook a little bit differently. To me, if I go to a place, an Italian place, and they're not frying the meatballs, they bake them in the oven, I will walk right out. It bothers me. Chicken parm should be fried and then put into the oven at the end with a mozzarella, and it's mozzarella, not mozzarella. For the mozzarella to be melted on right away, a little toasted around the sides. And if I get a waiter that tells me, "Would you like the calamari tonight?" I walk right out. Can't do it. As a matter of fact, just on a side note, high school sweetheart, dated her for 4 years. She went to a friend's because I have family that owns restaurants in Little Italy, Manhattan, quite a few. She went in and she ordered the cavatelli. I broke up with her right there, 3.5 years. I said, "Here's $20. Go get your coat check. Go home." We broke up 3.5 years because she said cavatelli. Swear to God. We broke up. She still said, they still talk every once in a while. It's been 35 years. She's like, "Did you really break up with me over cavatelli?" I said, "Absolutely embarrassing." But no, I personally, Mitch, when you're serving it, it looks beautiful on top of the pasta. I like it to the side because I like to get to it. I also won't ever put gravy or sauce. That's a whole other argument. I don't like to put the sauce on top of a pasta. I like to always saute my pasta in a sauce so the sauce gets in there.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's a gimme. That's a gimme.
Everybody come over tonight. We're eating good.
It's a layup. It's a layup.
Beautiful, beautiful. This is the drive-through. I'm Tony T, joined by Joe D'Amico and Mitch. More picks coming. We'll lead to the top of the hour. 13 games to bet on from Major League Baseball. We talked about the morning show. You'll see him on the morning show. Chris Ruffalo, welcome to the drive-through.
It's got me hungry talking about it. It's like when we were covering Serie A during the COVID break, and you got Parma playing Bologna, and
it's like we never even made it to the game. It's like, yeah, when they have like the plate with all the different deli meats on it, and then
they got started talking about antipasto, and it was all gone after that.
Oh boy. All right, Chris, we're going to be looking at a game from – you've been doing a lot of Rockies stuff on our show, so why not? We got the Rockies hosting the Padres, Davies, and Freeland.
Yeah, I can't seem to get out of the NL West anytime I'm on the show, I'll tell you. But, Padres got Zach Davies going here. And, Davies, when he was with the Brewers and even now at the Padres, he's been mostly a 5-inning guy. But he's starting to go deeper into games. He went 7 innings in his last start, and he's relying on the changeup, but if it ain't broke with Davies, don't fix it. Opposing teams only hitting 169 against his changeup this year. And I think he only gave up 3 runs in his start against Colorado at Coors Field earlier this season. And, the Rockies starting Kyle Freeland, Colorado guy, he's been posting back some solid numbers in the season. I think he hasn't given up more than 2 runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. I'm not a believer of just laying 11.5 with a game just because it's at Coors Field. I know the ball flies off the bats, but you're getting 2 quality pitchers here, and Freeland's played to the under in 5 of his 6 starts this season, so I like the under 11.5 in this one.
All right, here on the drive-through, joined by Mitch, Joe D'Amico, and Chris Ruffalo here with his play with the Rockies and the Padres. What's your thoughts here with this Padres bullpen? Remember, Bud Black's no longer there, first-year manager, and we started to see some weakness there with the bullpen control.
Yeah, I mean, I've never understood Kirby Yates as a closer. I mean, I know he had some solid numbers over the last couple of years, but I've still remembered him to be the guy that, comes out of the bullpen and gets torched. And Craig Stammen has been. I just think the Padres bullpen's a little bit overhyped for my liking.
What's your overall thoughts on this Padres team? I know they were really hyped to start the season. I know the people in Vegas really was behind the San Diego team. Your thoughts here for a postseason run?
Well, I mean, with the expanded playoffs, and you look at how the format's going to take the top two teams from each division, 2 wild cards. I think if there was any time for San Diego to sort of get their feet wet, kick the door, and it's this one. I mean, you look when they first brought guys in like Manny Machado, and he wasn't as big of a sign, but they brought in Eric Hosmer as well. You started to see signs of optimism in San Diego, and then what do? They go out and have another 72, 73 win season. So, and I think now, shorter season, 60 games, it's given everybody that chance, but especially San Diego, and you're starting to see, the revelation that is Fernando Tatis Jr. and how he's crushing the ball. I think they have as good as chances as they're going to have for the next little bit as well.
Mitch, your thoughts here on the Padres?
Normally, a team that's sellers at the trade deadline, this could be the year they're actually buyers at the trade deadline. And Joe D'Amico nailing his trade analysis the other day. First guy, it wasn't even 24 hours after he said Taijuan Walker's going to be the first guy traded, and he was traded, within less than 24 hours. And, I think the Padres, first time we're ever going to see them being buyers at the trade deadline. Normally, it's fire sale.
I was sad to see him go because you were getting good prices with Walker in Seattle. Now he moves over to Toronto, and no longer the dog might be the favorite in the games, right, Chris?
That's what I'm hoping. Hopefully we can turn those favorites into some positive results, though. I mean, the way the ball's flying out of Salem Field, I don't know if I'd want to be any pitcher going into that field right now. If you want to talk about bringing a glove to the outside of the ballpark, that's a bandbox, to say the least.
No question about
Tony always likes Hinge and Rue smoking the 2 packs of Marlboros in the bullpen.
I heard he's only down to 1.5 right now.
Is he? Okay. I knew someone that works for the TV station and told me, they're keeping it a secret here, but he's a 2-pack smoker.
So, you got the gas station across from Salem Field that's selling the 2-pack for the deal. They're like, oh yeah, here, 2 packs for $10.
Oh goodness. All right, Chris. Pick Dogs, top of the hour. We'll have 13 games to bet on. What you got going on at Pick Dogs?
Tonight, for me, it's a Fastball Friday. I got a 5-pack of my best games for the day, all for $29.95. Looking to keep my hot MLB streak going. For that price, can't go wrong.
All right, so check out Chris Ruffalo over at Pick Dogs. Get him in at the top of the hour. We'll have a lot of action going on, and of course, you can listen to him with Mitch and Rod on the Pick Dogs Morning Show, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you'll get some NHL, NBA talk. Of course, NHL back into action tomorrow?
Yeah, we got 3 games tomorrow.
Excellent. All right, Chris, have a great evening, and we'll listen to you and watch you tomorrow.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Chris. We'll see you in a few.
All right, so back here on the drive-through, Tony T joined by Joe D'Amico and Mitch. And, of course, Joe, a little bit of a break from the NBA, but you're ready to go tomorrow?
Oh, you're talking to me? Tony,
Oh, yes.
I tell you what, it was a little break, and you know what? I am really anticipating a great rest of the playoff run. I think the fans want it. I know the bettors want it, and I know the people here on the panel want it. We got some of the best handicappers in the world here, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, I know I'm looking for it. I know the line's going to be moving flat. I just want to tell our viewers out there, whatever they see, whatever they get from our handicappers, move quickly. Move quickly on that information because I do anticipate the major line movement tomorrow.
All right, the drive-through here, joined by Mitch and Joe D'Amico. We still have a lot of picks coming, so hang on for that. Actually, we'll get one right now. Let's bring him in. Brian Bittler, you'll find him over at Pick Dogs. And Brian, how you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm rock and roll. I had my dinner time, so now I'm ready to sit back and watch some Major League Baseball winners come on in.
Absolutely. Some good game going on right now between the Yankees, Mets. At last check, it was 6-4. I know Mitch was checking, was following that game.
We're to final. Just a spectacular catch by Toronto here in at this one. The ball, just flying around the park and really laid out and caught one here. That's what it's going to take to keep scores low in Buffalo.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Brian, you're looking at some AL West action. Good one here between Athletics and the Astros. As we got Bassett going here for the Oakland Athletics, as they take their act on the road, and they'll be going up against McCullers Jr. here. This one looks like about $1.10 both sides, total 9. How do you see it?
Really nice chance to pick up the Oakland A's and value, one of the best teams in baseball, I believe. And you get Chris Bassett on the mound, who gives up about 2-3 runs a game. Lance McCullers has kind of struggled in his last 2 starts. His ERA for the season 5.74. I see Oakland get a 2-3 run lead early and be able to hold that with that bullpen here. I like the price here with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I can't argue that here. I'm just looking at that Houston team. Oakland's just playing very, very well. That bullpen is solid. Brian, your thoughts here on this Oakland team and how far they can go?
I know Joe D is a big Yankees fan, but I can really see Oakland and New York really matching up well, and Oakland maybe being able to pull the upset with their pitching and their bullpen. I like the Oakland A's.
Oakland's a very good team, and I'll be honest with you, they're a preseason, I want to say fade, but they came up in odds to win it all, odds to take the American League pennant. They lowered drastically here in Vegas. And a lot of people said that they were going to oust Houston in the West, and right now they're 4.5, somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.5 games ahead of Houston. They're playing well, they're playing strong, they've got decent pitching staff, they got some guys banging the ball. They're a very good team. They're certainly a force to be reckoned with, and I am always a Yankees fan. I'm always optimistic with the Yankees. You can never keep the Yankees out. The Yankees are in a bit of a funk right now with Judge going down. We need all the help we can get right now. And at this point, normally I would say, we got 90 games, 80. You don't have that left. You have less than 30 games left. It's a strange season, and anything can happen. But Oakland is certainly a true force to reckon with.
Yeah, no question.
I think in a short series, though, Oakland might have some issues with that. They don't really have a dominant starting pitcher, so maybe they can remedy that by the trade deadline.
Yeah, we saw about 20 years ago. They said the same thing about Oakland. Ended up having like 3 guys that just came out and just mowed down everybody. I mean, what was it? It was
there's a left-hander who ended up going to San Francisco and having a big deal.
Crazy.
What his name was.
Yeah, I think this year's team, you got to see how they do in the postseason. Manea, Montas, those are probably your two guns going in the playoffs. And we got to see if they can get them over the top, though. Sometimes those late innings come into play. You need clutch hits, and they come up short in the postseason, though.
Yep,
All
definitely Oakland a little bit of trouble in the postseason.
DirecTV putting up the board now for the 7 o'clock Eastern Time start game.
Nice here. Joined by Brian Bittler here on the drive-thru. Brian, what you got going here? We got 13 games to bet on top of the hour.
I'll tell you what, man. I got my MLB prime time investment. Last year I hit about 61% of these. Right now I'm number 2 on PickDogs.com leaderboard as far as Major League Baseball goes. You can get my MLB prime time investment just $29.95. Make sure you guys pick that up.
All right, check out Brian Bittler right there on Pick Dogs. Brian, as always, great having you on the show. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Very enjoyable, guys.
Tony, Brian's been so hot. I'm buying his plate tonight on my credit card right now.
I'll tell you what, Joe D is the best cook. I see his he puts his meals up on Facebook. Man, they look so good. I wish I was out in Vegas.
I got bumped off Facebook for another month again. I got 2 more days before I'm on parole.
Now you're misbehaving.
They bump me off all the time. The stuff me and Mitch talk about here, they bump me off on Facebook all the time. But
honestly, I've never seen anything posted by you that would deem you getting booted off, but who knows?
I'll tell you later when I post it. I don't know. I thought it was funny. But I'm telling you now, viewers, Brian Bittler's so hot, I'm buying his plate tonight.
All
Thanks,
right,
Joe. You guys take it easy.
Take care, Brian. I'll see you in the morning.
Be good, Brian.
He'll be on the morning show, 11 a.m. Eastern Time Saturday. Check him out with Chris Ruffalo. We got Rod on the show as well as Mitch, and we'll cover all the action for Saturdays.
Monster show. I think Jeter's coming. I think Jeter's on with us tomorrow too. I'm not sure.
He's on with us tomorrow. He's on with us tonight. We got some NASCAR going on tonight. Let's welcome first time to the show, Jeff Jeter. Welcome to the drive-thru.
Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, welcome. Hello, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're gonna take a look at some NASCAR, but I know you also
from the
cover the others.
From the shadows of Bristol Motor Speedway.
That's right.
All right, so we got a race tonight. I was looking at it looks like an Xfinity race you'll be looking at.
Yes, sir. We got the NASCAR Xfinity Series down in Daytona tonight on the big track, racing the Wawa 250. 250 miles. 100 laps makes up the distance tonight. So it's a relatively short race for the Xfinity Series. And of course, at Daytona we go 200 miles an hour. So this race hopefully probably won't take too long, but we might get that big wreck here towards the end. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
What advantage you have here in the starting grid here? I'm looking at some of these drivers, but as you said in Daytona, what position you want to be in? Obviously, you got to stay away from trouble on that track.
Typically, we'll see, obviously some of the better guys that start up front kind of get up to the lead and try to stay there to avoid trouble. And then, we're going to see some of the good cars maybe kind of fade back a little bit to avoid that big wreck that could come in the middle of the race. You just never know when it's going to come. There's about 2 or 3 strategies that kind of play out at Daytona, but with NASCAR having the stage rules now, with having 2 or 3 stages, 2 stage breaks, there's going to be some different strategies we'll see play out tonight. That final stage, it's when it's time to put the hammer down and try to get to the front as soon as possible and try to avoid the wreck.
Now, in Xfinity, especially in Daytona, you look for experienced drivers here because it is the Xfinity Series.
Somewhat experienced, but I really look for those that have teammates. So that's where I was kind of leaning tonight. So as far as got a free pick for you and all that good stuff. So.
All right. So what are you going to deal with us here? What's your play here from Daytona?
Bitch, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I did want to jump in. I want to ask, in a 100 lap race, obviously just a little bit different than what we're typically seeing, at Daytona, where the home of the 500, right, the Super Bowl of NASCAR. Pit stops, tire changes, crews, probably a little less important than like what you said, the teammates, right? Is that because there's probably fewer pit stops? Is that what you're going to say? Like, how many scheduled stops would you have in 100 laps,
Really, they could probably get by with 2.
2.
Scheduled. The thing of it is, the most important thing with the draft, you've got to have your drafting partners.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll be honest with you. Chase Briscoe is a guy that really concerns me tonight about not having a drafting partner. I'm not going to sit here and BS you guys,
He's got no friends.
He might have friends until about 5 laps to go, and then it's check out, see you, buddy.
He had such a strong start to the season, and he's kind of dropped off a little bit, because he's not getting the help, because they know you give this guy help, he's going to beat us every single time. Shake and bake.
It was good to see him bounce back in that second Dover race last weekend in a backup car. I think somebody in chat said, Jeter, you're crazy for even talking about Chase Briscoe being in a backup car. And he went out there and just spanked that butt on Sunday last weekend.
Do we have any Cup Series? Do we have any Cup Series drivers that are driving in the Xfinity race tonight?
No, we do not.
So it's just straight Xfinity guys. So no Kyle Busch is in there, and no, none of that stuff.
Even if they were in, they might have a little bit of an advantage just from experience and drafting and being at Daytona. However, I think we're in for a good showing tonight with the Xfinity regulars. So
100 laps, man. I'd like to go. I'd like to.
Yeah. Jeff, is there a horse for course angle on this one?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by horse for course.
Meaning, is there someone that's the king of the super speedway? Who's the
driver that performs well on this this speedway?
Yeah, there's a few, I think, and the reason I say that is because these races just come down to the last few laps. This Daytona and Talladega are just the great equalizers amongst the sport, no matter what series it is. So there's not really an angle on it. Like I said, I'm kind of going back to what one team against the other, and then just which drivers in front.
Fans in the stands or no fans?
I don't know. I'm gonna say probably a few fans, maybe tonight, but for sure tomorrow night, because they just 2 weeks ago at the road course, or when they raced at the road course at Daytona, they had some fans in the stands. So I guess we'll find out. I did not catch that news. So.
All right, so joined here on the drive-through with Jeff Jeter. We're looking here at the race tonight, Xfinity Series at Daytona. And Jeff, you said you had a pick for us?
Yeah, I got a freebie for you. I do like Noah Gragson tonight. They're with the Junior Motorsports team. He won at Daytona back in February. He's going to have Justin Allgaier in the 7 car and Daniel Hemrick as his team to kind of push towards the front. Noah is a very aggressive driver. He's good at blocking. That's what it's going to take to win this race tonight. And so I think he's got a pretty good shot. But, that's my freebie there for tonight.
All right, Jeff Jeter with his free pick from the Xfinity at Daytona for tonight. Jeff, over at Pick Dogs, we see you up at the site. What do you got going? Got a three wide, 3-day pass?
Yeah, 3 wide, 3-day pass. It's $59.99. It's going to include my premium picks for tonight's race, so get in on it quick. The race starts in about 45 minutes, and I've got some good action for you guys tomorrow. The Big Boys Cup Series race, Coke Sugar 400 down at Daytona tomorrow night, and I'll
night
have you a
race.
couple
It's
picks.
it's a night race tomorrow at Daytona.
Yes, it is.
Under the lights.
Yeah.
All right.
Under the lights. Sparks flying, man. So, and then
That's where I was near. I was nearly arrested at Daytona Motor Speedway under the lights. I swear it was a cigarette. I swear.
Oh, it was. Okay. All right.
I swear it was a
drive-through joint with Jeff Jeter. Jeff, as always, thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you again many times on this show. Talking NASCAR, and I know you look at other sports, right? You cover what Major League Baseball, football.
Yeah, getting into it and getting ready for football season, and I'm getting very excited about it. So we'll be bringing some stuff your guys' way, and so looking forward to it.
I know you're in SEC country. How excited are you for the season?
Hey, if you're in the Big Ten, we welcome you down this year for for at least the fall season. So I thought that was pretty funny. I heard that the other day, so I can't take credit for it. But looking forward to seeing what our Tennessee Volunteers have this year, and just really looking forward to college football starting tomorrow night with Austin Peay and Central Arkansas. So.
All right, Jeff, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you all.
Jeff.
All right, drive-through, Tony T, joined by Mitch and Joe. Joe, how's NASCAR numbers in Vegas? We're seeing some uptick, a lot of interest.
Over the years they've really went up. We've seen the interest. I mean, over the last 30 years, when I first moved here 30 years ago, people used to come in for big events, and then it just skyrocketed. We have our own events here several times a year. I have some friends that are in racing, and we go to the races several times a year. This is like a major city for people that can't get around the country and go to events. They'll come here. They'll bet. I mean, we have a lot of things that happen here several times a year. We're very excited about it. But the numbers that come in and the betting that goes on NASCAR is very big. It's significant.
I've been there, and they shut down the Vegas Strip and do a parade right down the middle of the Vegas Strip the day before the race.
It's amazing, and the NASCAR people that come here are some of the finest groups of people that come here. And I personally, Jeff, I'll be honest with you, being a New York City boy, coming here 30 years, I'm here 30 years in Vegas. I have some friends that race that kept inviting me to races. Finally, I gave in. I never knew how beautiful an event it is in the pit, and then when they do the prayer at the beginning and the salute and everything, I was told there's not, and I'm not going to get into a political thing, Mitch, but nobody sits. Everybody stands for the flag. Everybody prays, no matter what your denomination is. Everybody prays. Whether you pray to God or not, everybody's praying. Everybody respects one another, each other. I've never seen an event that everybody comes together. And it's just a beautiful event, and everybody, where I grew up, even from New York City, Mitch, I was a Yankee fan, maybe you're a Met fan, I'm an Islander fan, you're a Ranger fan, where people come and they have team jackets
as long as you're not a Jet fan, right? As long as you're not.
But the community that is around the race families are wonderful. But here, several times a year, the events are amazing from a betting point of view. It is amazing to see. And
I love the rodeo in Vegas. I love the rodeo crowd in Vegas. I think that, I'm out there for the rodeo. It seems that, I don't know why I'm out there for the rodeo. It's usually like a fight weekend or something, but I'm usually out there for the rodeo week, and I got to say, those guys are fantastic. They take care of all the Vegas employees. You never see them like, oh, man, that rodeo crowd. It's like the rodeo crowd. They take care of everybody, and it's like I was at Casino Royale There's this guy in a big cowboy hat, and I had hit my $20 hard 10, and I parlayed it up, and he turns around and he says, "Nice bet," and I was just like, "I know you. You're that quarterback from Boise that screwed me out of the cover." He's like, "No one recognized me." He goes, "But I am that guy."
For the groups of people that come here, the rodeo people, great. Let me tell you, they come here, they pay for everything. I'll tell you what, the steakhouses around town are always packed. They're reserved early. The Palm, Lowry's, they're always packed. The race people the same way. They come here, they like their whiskey, they like their races, they like betting, they like having a good time. And the town there's a great aura to it. And this is my home. I love it here. It's exciting all year round. I miss what we normally have, and I write columns, as Mitch and Tony knows, and I usually write, I make a joke, if a nuclear bomb hit, there'll be two things left: cockroaches and Vegas. And right now, Vegas, I think they just got the report out for July, 750 million in gambling, was obviously a lot more than they had the previous months. But it's going up again. Tourism is up. We normally get 45 to 50 million tourists a year. Flights are back up. McCarran, one of the busiest airports in the world. I'm excited to have Vegas back where it normally is. I want my friends, a lot of the entertainers on the strip are friends of mine, from the Bruno Marses to the Aerosmiths, right down to the Zoe Bowies and the Murray the Magicians, the Crazy Girls, the Sexy Girls, all friends of mine. And I want to see their marquees bright again, and I want to see them back and the show's back, which we will be back soon enough. But as I was saying, Jeff, the race people that come here in town and the events that they have, some of the most wonderful events I've been to. Now I don't miss, twice a year I go to the races, and I don't miss it, and it is the most enjoyable event, some of the most enjoyable sporting events, Mitch, that I've ever been to at the races. So my hat's off to you and the race people. And by the way, I want you to text me all your race winners for the weekend.
All right, so Joe D'Amico, so casino hosts all on deck, right? For when you're in Vegas, no vacation, no days off, casino hosts all on deck, right? All hands on deck? All right.
Absolutely.
All right, here on Drive. I'm going to give you my free pick. I'm going to go with this. I gave it to you earlier. This is the one I like. Under 8.5 between the Cardinals and the Indians. You've got Tristan McKenzie on the hill, a strikeout pitcher. Daniel Ponce de Leon will go for St. Louis. Two strong bullpens on both sides. And again, Cleveland, a little light hitting team on the road, under 8.5. And I got a 3-pack right now from Major League Baseball over at Pick Dogs. All right. We're still trying to figure out this game 2 here with the Yankees and the Mets. It's like we talked about earlier, Mitch. These managers don't like to give out this game 2 information.
Well, I pretty much can prognosticate exactly who's going to pitch. So let's take a look at these teams, and I'll tell you who the pitchers are going to be.
Did I see Peterson earlier for the Mets? Is that what I saw for the Mets earlier, Mitch? Peterson?
That's what we saw. So Pearson, right?
It's Loai Siga and David Peterson.
All right.
There it is.
We got it. Peterson, the 3-1.
I knew I was going to come up with it.
Peterson was on the IL since August 14th to the left shoulder inflammation, so he gets the start here against Loaizaga in for the Yankees. And I don't know if we've got numbers on this one here. Pull it up. Do not see it yet, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, Mitch. It's been a great week of shows. We've got all the picks in, and I know you got a big show for tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yep, we'll have a monster show just like we do every single morning. I don't know, Jeter, are you on tomorrow? Is that the way that works?
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow.
All right, so aside from the Jeter segment, we got a really big show planned. It's going to be awesome, and,
Jeff, you walked into that one, brother.
No, we have fun with Jeter every week. We call our segment on our show, on our morning show with Jeter, we call it Trading Paint. And, we just trade some paint, listen to Jeter talk NASCAR. He literally takes it literally and runs me over, pretty much on the show. I don't get a word in edgewise. Get him and Joe D'Amico maybe doing that segment, and it'll be probably it's a show within itself. But anyways, we have that. Bittler will be there. Maybe he'll have his camera angle fixed, and it probably is the most unprofessional show that millions of people watch of any show that's ever out there. We're just I don't know. We're seldom prepared, and I don't know. We somehow managed to do it, and millions of people watch. We do our parlays, kind of just do everything and go through the motions, and usually, a little bit of complaining about me on there by the crowd as well. So a little bit of everything.
Well, Mitch, if I may, good solid content, more winners than not, and without a doubt, without question, the best looking lineup in the business.
Absolutely. When you got Zawacki, you got Ruffalo, you got Bitler. It's eye candy as far as the eye can see.
Absolutely. So check out Pig Dogs Morning Show, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. NBA, NHL back in action. Of course, all the baseball coverage and more. Some NASCAR picks to join us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That'll do it for tonight's show. Joe, another weekend. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Got it. I'm looking forward to a great weekend. Jeff, I want those winners. Al, great weekend. Chris, Mitch, have a wonderful weekend. Tony, listen to me. Do me one favor. Next time you go for a haircut, pick up all the hair they cut off. Send it to me in the mail. I can use it, please.
All right, I will do so. I'm Tony T. For Mitch and Joe. Have a great week.
Have a
Watch
great-
the games and win those bets.
Have a great week, everyone. Have a great weekend.